Hey guys, Erik Peterson here, and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for Skill of Attraction. And in today's reaction video, we're going to be checking out exactly what the issue is for women and coffee dates for a first date. Now, of course, this isn't all women. In fact, I don't even think it's most women. But some women out there really have a problem with men taking them on a coffee date for the first date. And it doesn't just have to be a coffee date. In fact, I actually tell guys that for the first date, you should always take them out for something like a coffee date. Take them out for ice cream, maybe a walk in the park, even a drink. And the idea behind that is that you're getting together to see if there's even a connection and some chemistry there. Because a lot of times guys will go all out and take a woman out on a really nice, extravagant or expensive date or out to a fancy restaurant and realize that there's no connection there. And not only is it a waste of time, it's a waste of money. And it's not just a waste of time for you, it's a waste of time for her too. So the idea is you go on kind of a mini date and you just get to know each other a little bit, see if there's a connection there, see if there's some chemistry there. And then if everything checks out, then you start planning more extravagant dates. But some women seem to have a real problem with that. They want you to go all out and spend all kinds of money on them for a first date because they're worth it. And maybe they are, who knows? But you never want to go out on a fancy date or spend a lot of money on the first date because you just don't know what's going to come of it. So we're going to watch a couple of videos by women and what they have to say about the coffee date and what the exact problem is. But before we get started, guys, if you need some one-on-one coaching, please head on over to my website at soa.fm and click on the coaching tab. And there you'll see that I have several options for you to book phone coaching with me or Zoom coaching. Phone coaching is for if you're in North America, and Zoom coaching is for if you're outside North America. So let's get on and see what these women have to say.
If a man can't spend $75 or $100 on a first date, he just shouldn't be dating. If a man wants to take you on a walk or go for coffee on the first date, say no thanks and move on. If you're a woman and you're not yet 20 or you're in your early 20s right now, you are setting the dating standard. Do you think the guy that spends $4 on you for the first date for a coffee or for a cookie is going to be an overflowing fountain of effort and enthusiasm for you moving forward? A friend of mine was all excited because this guy took her to Crumble Cookie. She's this super sweet 19-year-old girl. And she was so excited and I didn't want to crush her heart about it. But I was like, yeah, that's nice, but I'm literally not impressed. He bought you a $4 cookie. Jesse, she's young, blah, blah, blah. They're young. They're only 19. I do not care. I remember once in my early 20s, this guy, for our first date, he was like, we're going to go for a walk and then we're going to go get coffee. And I remembered thinking, well, that's cute. He wants to be outside and, we won't have drinks and whatever. Look back on that now and I'm like, barf. That's such a low effort cop out. Cool, you want to go for a walk and then get coffee and then get a meal? Dude can't even spend $5 on you. And what do women commonly do to get ready for a first date, especially? New outfit, nails done, hair done, maybe buy some new makeup or perfume or jewelry. Jesse, it's not about the money. On the first few dates it is. On every date moving forward it is. When I was in my mid-20s, I think I was 25, a guy wanted to take me to the dog park for our first date because we both had dogs. I said, I'm not going to the dog park on our first date. And so he said, okay, well, what do you want to do? And in my head, I'm like, I'm already planning and we haven't even gone on the first date. So I said, you think about it and get back to me. And he never got back to me. Either he didn't like me enough or he thought that taking me out to eat was too much money, was too much effort, or he didn't have the money to take me out to dinner. Either way, not for me.
Well, maybe he thought you were just insufferable after you refused to go to the dog park on a date. A lot of women, when their dates don't work out or a guy they met, it doesn't work out, they never really look at it from his perspective. They always look at it from their perspective and they think that there must be something wrong with him, never thinking about maybe they did something wrong or maybe they said or did something that turned the guy off. And in this case, if I invited a girl out to go to the dog park for a date, I mean, that's not something I would actually do, but there's nothing wrong with that. And she made a big deal about it the way this girl is, especially in that just nasty, bitchy tone. I wouldn't call her again either. But you see right here, she even mentioned about when she was younger and a guy took her out for a coffee date and she thought it was cute and whatnot. And she didn't say anything bad happened on the date. But now that she's looking back, now she's thinking things like barf. I mean, why? If you had a good time on the date, you got to know the guy, and maybe even something became of it, then what's the big deal? See, women like this, they see their value tied up in what you spend on them and how much money you invest into them. And to me, that says gold digger written all over it. And that's another reason why you want to do these coffee dates or these mini dates before you start going all out, so you know that what you're getting involved with. I mean, it's an actual thing right now that women will set up dates with men to go to dinner just so they could eat for free. And they actually have a name for it. The media has called it foodie calls, like booty call, but with food. And I've actually seen articles popping up of women that will save all this money on their groceries because they go out with men 6 days a week, a different man every night, and get a free meal out of it. And again, this is why you want to do these mini dates. Now, a lot of men think the answer to this is to make her pay half of wherever he took her. So if he took her out to dinner, she would pay half the bill. And women don't like that either. And I do agree that that isn't a cool thing to do. That isn't a very gentlemanly thing to do. So what's better than that is take her out on one of these mini dates. Take her out for coffee, for ice cream, something like that. And at least this way, you know that if you go on a second date, it's because she's actually interested in you. Otherwise, she wouldn't be wasting her time. If she's not getting a free meal out of it, she's not going to be going out with you. Because it's women like this who think that in order to have a successful date, that you have to spend a bunch of money on them. I think she said in the beginning that a guy should be spending $75, $100 on her on a first date, which I find absolutely ridiculous. In fact, most of the dates that I go on, I barely spend any money at all. It's not because I'm cheap. It's just because I'm creative and I actually find fun and romantic things for us to do where it doesn't cost a fortune, because going out on a date isn't about the money that you spend. In fact, most women, they don't care how much money you spend on them or really even where you want to take them. They're there to get to know you and spend some time with you. And that's really what dates are for. It's to get to know each other in a romantic context and to flirt and have some fun, and maybe even it leads to something better, like maybe the bedroom, maybe a relationship. Dates are not meant for you to impress a girl. Besides, you don't have to spend a lot of money to impress a girl. If you want to do backflips in front of her, you could do that too. But women like this feel like you have to spend money on them in order for them to be worthy. Basically, they want you to buy their time. And I think that there's a word for that. And most women don't like to be associated with that. And that's exactly what it is. So it doesn't matter how attractive she is, what she says. Do not fall for this manipulation of, a real man would be taking me out and spending money on me and doing this, because that's the language of a gold digger. And no man wants a gold digger. You want a woman that's going out with you because she's into you. She's interested. She wants to spend time with you. She's attracted to you. She has fun with you. I mean, that's what dating is all about. It's not about how much money you spend. But let's see what this next girl has to say.
You guys are going to hate me for this, and it's been a while since I made one of these, but it's time to redo it again. Coffee dates don't make it easier for you. They make it easier for him to date multiple women. Oh, well, they just make it easy for me? You're making yourself easy to date for multiple men. But nobody's going to want to date me if I don't go on coffee dates. That's the point. You're not for everybody. You're not supposed to be.
I just want to add that, my God, is this woman annoying. Let's continue.
You want to be appealing to the losers? Oh, but the dating experts say. Who said they were experts? Was it them? Or was it you? And since we started calling them experts, how many questions do you have in your mind every day? Wondering why you don't get texts back, or why they didn't hit you up before the date. Oh, but I'm making it so easy to date me, I'm just going out for coffee. And they still don't want to meet up with you? Yeah, that's because they're lame-os. Lame-os trying to spend the least amount of time and the least amount of effort just so that they can know that they are desirable. Because their self-worth is on the ground. And so is their budget. I will never condone a coffee date. I don't even condone drink dates. Oh, well, I'm just thinking about his time and his budget. His budget that is worth more than yours because as a man, societally, he gets paid more. And his time that he has more of because he's not doing hair, makeup, and shaving his legs. Oh, well, I just want to be worth meeting up. He spends all day fighting with men. Men insulting him, men assaulting him, men telling him what to do all day long, and men asking him for thousands of dollars depending on what position he is if he's not somebody's subordinate. It is a pleasure to be in front of a woman, a beautiful one, who smells good, is friendly, and is giving her undevoted attention to him, and potentially her womb, which is his future generations. Stop giving sympathy towards his time and energy when yours is worth more. You can try to fight me on this, but I'm just going to delete you in the comments, because hi, welcome to my dictatorship in Fleekseyville.
See, she doesn't really want to hear the truth. That's why she's blocking out everyone's comments or blocking people from disagreeing with her. But I find it interesting that, one, she's suggesting that men do coffee dates so they could date other women. Now, number one, if you're just going out on a first date, you're not an official couple. So it doesn't matter if you're dating other women or not. And number two, no man in the world is going to be going out on a string of coffee dates just so he could take other girls out on coffee dates. Men take women out on dates, again, to get to know them and hopefully have a little bit of fun. And maybe it turns into something, whether that be turning into the bedroom or turning into a relationship. I guarantee no man wants to be going out on a coffee date 5 nights a week with a different woman every time. And just so he could get attention and validation like she's suggesting. That's not what men do. That's what women do. Men don't go out with a bunch of women just to feel good about themselves. So she's really applying how women think to believing that that's how men think, and which I've probably have discussed before. And what I mean by that is women, both men and women do this. They think that the opposite sex thinks just like they do. What I think happened is when she was younger, a guy that she really liked took her out on a coffee date and something happened and he never called her again. Maybe she slept with him that night and now she's feeling hurt because he never called her. But sometimes that happens, and it just tells me that the guy wasn't really into her. So now because of that, all men are the same way, and she thinks all men are using the same strategy, and that is apparently taking a string of women out on a string of coffee dates and playing them all. And if this video is indicative of this woman's behavior and attitude as a whole, I don't blame a guy for not calling her back. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's quite attractive, but I would not be able to hang around with a girl that talks like that much, with that much anger and contempt in her voice for more than a couple of minutes. So if I went out on a coffee date with her, I probably wouldn't be calling her back either, whether I slept with her or not. Actually, I probably wouldn't sleep with her because I couldn't stand her for more than a couple of minutes. But some of these hurt women feel the need to talk to younger girls and tell them that don't fall for all this. And there's nothing really to fall for. It's not a trick. It really isn't. Guys don't think that deep about it. We just see an attractive woman and we want to get to know her. We want to take her out. We're not interested in playing games. In fact, even the guys that I coach, when I tell them that they should be doing certain things, they don't want to do it because in their mind, they're playing games. Guys don't want to do any of that stuff. So if women are accusing men of doing this just to get something out of them, just to play some sort of game, it's most likely because these women, it's something that they would do. You know, that old theory about if someone is accusing you of doing something, it's because they're doing it themselves. And I really think that's a big part of this here. That and the fact that these women were hurt by some man, therefore all men are the same way and they're not going to deal with it ever again. But the truth is they're missing out on a bunch of opportunities because they refuse to go out on a simple coffee date. I mean, how ridiculous is that? But again, like I said, they're probably gold diggers. Now, you guys don't want to think too deeply about this. In fact, I did a video not too long ago that was called Women's Impossible Standards, when I talk about how so many women have all these insane standards or very detailed standards. But then I go on to make the point that if a woman is feeling a high attraction for you, none of that matters. None of it. Do you think a woman who is very attracted to you that wants a 6-foot man is going to care if you're 5'10"? Unless maybe she's 6 foot, then I could kind of understand that. But when she's attracted to you, she's not going to care about all those things. Like I hear guys say all the time that women only care about money. If her attraction for you is very high, she's not going to care about money. The only time that a woman is going to care about money, unless she's a gold digger, is when she's starting to think of you as something long term, like marriage or moving in together. Then women are starting to think about money. Is he going to be able to take care of me? Am I going to be able to have his children and be able to stay with the child? Is he going to be able to pay the bills, or do I have to go to work, or whatever the situation may be? Now she's thinking in terms of money. But as far as her attraction for you, money is not that big of a deal. I mean, it will certainly help. Being wealthy and good looking and being fit, that will certainly help you get more attractive women. But it's not necessarily something that you must have. If you have really good game, none of that's going to matter. I mean, I'm sure you have seen average looking guys or even below average looking guys out with very attractive women. And we all think to ourselves, oh, he must have a lot of money or he's hung like a horse. Those things could be true, but chances are the guy has some good game and he's confident and he has a strong frame. Those things are much more important. So don't let these girls intimidate you into doing things that you don't want, or into doing things that you know is probably not a good idea. And in this case, it's women trying to intimidate you into spending a bunch of money on them and take them out to a fancy restaurant on the first date when you barely even know the girl. Of course, she's going to like it because you're lavishing her with gifts and fancy expensive dinners. But it really doesn't benefit you one way or another. And if you think a girl is more likely to sleep with you because you took her out to a fancy dinner, well, you have another thing coming. Actually, a woman is more likely to sleep with you if you give her all those good feelings that I talk about in the rest of my videos. Confident guy with some good riz, that's going to get you much further than spending a couple $100 on a dinner date for her. So just keep all this stuff in mind. Don't pay attention to that. And if a girl refuses to go out with you because you're taking her out for coffee or taking her out for a walk in the park, then she's lost the opportunity with you. And in that case, what you tell her is something like, okay, great. Well, you know what? If you have a change of heart, why don't you get in touch with me? And then don't expect to hear from her ever again. But you may, because sometimes things like this are just little tests to see if you cave or if you put up a fight or if you get really defensive. But don't do any of that stuff. Just do how I told you. That's great. Well, you know what? If you have a change of heart, get in touch with me and we will plan something then. Then, of course, make sure she has your number or your at on Instagram or something like that, and just leave it be, move on to the next girl, invite her out for a coffee date. I mean, like the first girl was talking about some 19-year-old girl. She was excited because the guy who took her out to get a cookie and coffee. I mean, that's kind of cute and it's kind of romantic. And if a girl really likes you, she's not going to care how much money you're spending on her. She's just going to be happy that a guy like you is paying attention to her and taking her out and wants to get to know her. For most normal women, that is what's important. Now, before you guys leave, be sure to come on over to my website at soa.fm. That's SOA for Skill of Attraction and FM because it's fucking magic. And on there, you will see that it's 100% free. There are no catches. I don't spam you. I don't sell your email to bigger companies. None of that. It's completely free. You can remain relatively anonymous. And you could ask questions. You could give your opinion on other guys' questions. And most men that come over there, they find it very useful and they stick around for a long time. So once again, that's soa.fm. And of course, if you want to book one-on-one coaching with me, you could find that there too by clicking on the coaching tab. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.